if you don't mind. Uh, all right, Frank and Gina, maybe just Gina, maybe just Frank, maybe Frank and Gina. Hey, y'all. Uh, Hopefully you can hear me. I don't have to restart. How am I doing? Anybody? I got two thumbs up, so maybe I'm cool. Uh, you can hear? I'm gonna jump into this thing. We've been waiting a while for this one. I've been rescheduling it and putting it off, but I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm gonna do this. If you can hear me, hear me? All right. Can you hear me? Just wondering if you can hear me, because otherwise, okay. Thank you so much. Let's get into this. Okay. Uh, Appreciate that, Frank, or Frank and Gina. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna get into this. Good. All right. Praise Jesus Christ, indeed. Thank you, God. We got a Savior. Yay. Um, Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna get into this. I've been putting this off a minute because I had to get to the point of what I talked about in the last show, which is a lot to stomach if you don't know what's up, you know? It's like, what do you mean I don't get a sanctuary here? It's like, yeah, no, this this is the egg. You gotta crack it open and sanctuary is outside the egg, which is not what you want to hear when you in the egg. You're like, wait, I gotta get outside the egg for the yeah, you know, Mayor Baba and the mischievous chicken, Satan, right? Satan. Got to get outside the egg. If you're chicken, you got to. You got to do it. Yeah, that's how you become a chicken. Like that's how you make it. Okay. So we're gonna get into a few things today. Um, but it's all uh, let's say one thing on the overview of this, and a couple other points, I guess. But remember that uh, scripture, you know, like signs and symbols are all saying pretty much one thing. Hey, judgment day is 9/11/2033. Like they're all saying that. Well, scripture's all saying the same thing too. Yeah, that's judgment day and stuff, but here's the stuff you got to get done before the time runs out. You see, you got to get the knowledge, and then you got to make your proper decisions, and then you can get out of the egg and not get put back into another egg. Like Neo, I'm in egg again. It's like, oh, and I don't notice, my eyes aren't open. So I never noticed I was in an egg. Uh, so, so let's get into this. Okay. I was going to start with, anything that comes up as we go along, just, fire away. Uh, Now what else have we got here? I got a couple other things. Thanks for the support. Everyone supported this. There's no way I continue because what's the point of dispensing knowledge that no one wants? There's no right. Okay. I mean, and specifically the Poe family. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be doing this without your support. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have the time. I have to focus on other things. So and everyone that's supporting this because it's not many people. Let me tell you, and those people are making it so I can do this literally. Uh, okay, all right. Let's start at the beginning here and get through this. Fantastic. Okay. Let's start where everybody starts. It's just like I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven. Okay, so something's falling coming from heaven. You know. Uh, so Well, that's interesting. Uh, let's get into the next, I think, important piece. What does a word mean? You see what I'm saying? So if you add "an" to something, that's like someone that does sat or sate or what SAT. So what is sat, right? That's someone that. Oh, okay. So if you just go, I googled "sat" means knowledge Sanskrit. I looked it up. It says no. Sat in Sanskrit means beginning existence, real, actual, true, good, right, and that's what really is. So that's like and as it says a yoga, but really this is the Hindu belief, right? Sat is part of a compound sat chit ananda, which represents absolute truth. right? Consciousness and pure bliss. Okay, sat chit ananda, chit being, that's not exactly the words Mir Baba uses. You know what I'm saying? But he uses knowledge for sat, but absolute truth. You see, um, and is Sikhism, sat means truth, but Guru Nanak, that's who was, like I said, of Jesus, right? Uses it to refer to God. So, okay, so um, anyway, so that's what the word means. It means the truth of specifically one truth, right? Like about God, the truth about God, right? So one that is right because it's not, if you know it, then you know the truth about God. It's not something that uh, isn't a part of you. In order to be one with God, it's a special state like Christ, right? That's the state. Oh, Christ, that's you're one with God. I'm one with my Father, Jesus, right? I am one with the Father. I'm one with my Father, right? And so uh, that's when you get Sat Chidananda, right? When you get God realization, Christhood, you get those elements. One of them, one of the three ones, is knowledge, truth about God. And, truth about God is that the 64-year time loop is happening. All right, Jay. Good to have you. So I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff of kind of a couple things from the Bible and a bunch of stuff from Mayor Baba, and then I just want to weave together for you what you've been experiencing with finding out the truth here, um, and see that my last show has a meaning to the show that they go along. It's sort of like the last show I did about sanctuary here, and this is, they tie in. So let's keep going. So okay, we're everyone's introduced by. Again, we'll go back to this is Luke 10:18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven. So lightning, it's like, oh, you know something. You learned something. You just pops in your head, right? I'm thunderstruck, right? I'm thunderstruck. Oh my God. Right? Oh my God. Lightning, choo, from heaven. Boom, instantly. Like instant download Neo would get. It's like download how to fight, right? Download everything. Download everything back on. Choo. It's happens like in an instant, which is really an odd thing. I was sitting in the hot tub with my wife here. We have like one of the blow up ones, Anyway, it's fine. It's good. Uh, we were sitting there and there weren't clouds in the sky or anything. It was just after dark. No, it was just before dark. Just before dark. I'm sorry. And there was a lightning flash right in the daylight. I thought maybe a transformer blew, but there wasn't a cloud in the sky at all. There wasn't one. And she's like, that was a bolt of lightning. She saw it. It was behind me. And I was like, man, that just lit up everything. It was crazy at twilight. I mean, at dusk before twilight. But, you know, that's what it's saying. You get knowledge, from heaven in a flash. You see? That's what it's saying. And so who says give that individual knowledge from heaven? Who determines that? God. Right? God. That's who determines it. All right, Pamela. Jamie, all right. We're going into this what I've been putting off, ladies. All right. I'm just gonna continue with it. The overview being remember that scripture is about the process each individual has to do spiritually in their life to achieve getting back home with God, right? That's always what the story is about. So that's same with, you know, the story of God's shadow. Hey, you're in Shadowland. Get back over here in the light. Okay. So, you know, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. This is, where was that one? Okay. Uh, this is, where's, I sort of read Lucifer on Wikipedia. So that's right. So Lucifer is actually a word that sort of means Venus too. So, uh, which is interesting because, you know, the things in heavens, you got the prisons, you know, the lights that are prisons like the moon and Venus and them things that are imprisoning, you know, like their Bible said, oh, devil oak, like what did it say? Uh Heaven 3 or something. Oh, we're gonna read it, but uh oh, it's not coming to me. But oh, in the third heaven and seventh heaven, like that. Yeah, yeah. No, right. Okay. So, you know, those are different heavens. They're in the heavens. You see what I'm saying? You look up, there's heaven up, right? And so in the third, you know, heaven, you know, the third prison, you know, let's call heaven prison. You're stuck there. You're not with God all the way. You're still stuck in a prisoned egg. So you move from egg to egg, you know, until you're, you know, eggless. Uh, so it's like, hey, you know, the one who knows everything about what, where they are in the situation, but you have to know God. You can't just know your ball. But once you know your ball, you're like, okay, I'm done here. Off you go to a new ball, right? The bell of the ball. So this was coming from another area where angels are, yes. And as I said, angels, when you're in the presence of God, you actually don't have free will, and you don't have really a sense of self, therefore, at all. That's what we're developing here. You know, the knowledge of you as an individual without losing knowledge of God, but you have to lose that knowledge first, right? You have to get separated from God or feel like you're separated from God and be in here in the egg. And then you have to achieve your reunification with God. So this is all the different heavens that we have to go through. So it's oh, I come out of this ball, you're over there, you made some bad mistakes, but now you know, and so then you get cast into this world. Okay. And then you got to play this game. And if you win this game, you know, then you run your ball. You know, this you're so really well. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is a long piece, but it can be helpful in a broad sense to get a bit of understanding about Mayor Baba's. Look at her kind of the Hindus and Mayor Baba's stuff. So let's look at this. This is from Notes Dictated by Mayor Baba in 1967. And you can look this up on Angels, Mayor Baba, if you Google Angels of Mayor Baba. Anyway, so I know a bunch of you read this, but we're going to go in and tie this in, you know, with a bunch of stuff. Okay, okay. Here I'm going to start. The third heaven, Alm A Kudasi, the pure world, is divided into three sections or parts. The first section is the state of Indra, is Sanskrit Indralok, the abode of the rain god to the Hindus, and the Persian Makadel Hori, the house of the fairies. So that's a place. You see what I'm saying? The house. That's where the house and the, you know, the ones without lights, you know, like us here. The second is The second section is the abode of the angels or the abode of the gods. It stands for Devilok, like devil, Devilok. Uh, the Greek and Roman gods were these angels or divas, as they are the Hindu gods. Okay, see? Uh, they're not embodied here, you see? Uh, not often. They're in the disembodied. Okay. The third section is the actual section of Kadasi, where the pilgrim experiences subtle knowledge. This knowledge is not gnosis, but occult or mystic knowledge. You go up the place, a certain amount of knowledge you got to go through. Yeah. Each section in the third heaven holds millions of times more bliss, more happiness, more powers than the second heaven. We got rain happening. I hope you can still hear me. Uh yeah. The hurricane maker, the rain god. It's like I say his name is like perfectly dry 1 minute ago. Okay, anyway. Uh Crazy. The state of subtle consciousness known as Indra is the state of the first section of the third heaven. Indra is known as the king of the gods or the king of the angels, the same as the Greek Zeus or Roman Jupiter. In Persian, Indra's abode is Amakat el Hori, the house of the fairies, or the house of the beautiful women. Indra's fairies are feminine, subtle beings, a type of angel with exceptional beauty and charm. Uh, what do I call them? The charismatics. The state of Indra is referred to as a post of divinity, a station of considerable power and certain duties concerning the elements of nature, specifically to do with the earth. If a man successfully performs a severe penance such as Chilanashini, staying inside of a circle for 40 days and nights, where he drops his physical body, dies, this man attains the Indra state. This means that a gross consciousness man becomes Indra and gains that subtle identity with the status, king, the powers, the duties, and of that post, throne. He has become the king of the gods, Zeus, Jupiter, who rules 330 million angels. Being king of the angels is an experience of Al Kudasi, which is millions of times more blissful than any experiences in the second heaven of Al Ruhani. Through his subtle body, he consciously experiences the bliss of being deified. Listen. Through his subtle body, okay, he consciously experiences the bliss of being deified and holds that post while in a disembodied state. So, like in your dreams, you follow? Okay. For one epoch, which equals 4 cycles, each cycle is 26,000 years, this human holds the post of Indra and is very possessive of it. Many times, those men, ascetics in the gross world who are striving to attain the post of Indra, will have their penance disturbed by the individual currently holding the throne. The suffering penitents are actually disturbed by Indra himself, who sends all kinds of temptations their way, from the most frightful to the most seductive, to defeat the penance and have it stopped. Those who fail to dethrone Indra are overcome by their own fear during the penance. Overcome by fear, overcome by fear. Indra will do anything to keep his throne, but despite efforts to stay in power, the individual holding the Indra post must leave it after one epoch and again take a human body on earth. That individual who is Indra progresses higher while incarnate, still retaining his third plane consciousness. I want to come back to that section there. Okay. It is important to understand that this individual titled Indra exists in a subtle body and exists in his subtle body, not incarnate. Okay. And inhabits the heavens while disembodied, but cannot progress in subtle consciousness until he is incarnate again. In other words, Zeus must come down from Olympus. Jupiter must abandon the abode of the gods and become a man again to advance higher towards the fourth plane. There are 558 human beings on the third plane as solics, even more as musts as are absorbed in the heavens, but only one holds the post of Indra. The angels are the ancient gods of mythology. Indra controls the angels and assigns duties to them, making certain that each angel fulfills its duty in the proper way for the balance of nature and creation. Angels inhabit the second section of the third heaven, Devalok, right? Uh, Venus. Okay. Angels are the divas who have only subtle form and no gross body. Pilgrim with third plane consciousness can see these angels as a normal man sees gross creatures. See, because they're what? Those are the angels. Angels do not pass through evolution in the gross world. They just blink back and forth between the forms. Yeah. Okay, angels are those drop bubbles who remain stationary in the subtle world during the first six stages of movement in the ocean of nothing and never reach the seventh stage, the gross world. When the drop bubbles first entered creation through the mental planes unconsciously, some became archangels that existed in sixth heaven. Those who became angels continued to pass through the mental planes, but attained consciousness when they entered the third plane's second heaven, the angelic abode, Develop, or the first heaven, Makana Hori, and became fairies. Different divisions in the 330 million. That's what we're talking about. Okay, okay. Included the top one. All right. Though completely happy and enjoying bliss to the fullest as automatons of the will of Indra, angels still aspire to attain human form because only in human form can a soul become God realized. God realization is the divine goal of all life, not angelic existence or being a god among gods. No, that's not it. So the angels and archangels must attain a human form as Indra must leave his throne and give up his reign to progress further towards godhood. After an angel has existed in Deviluk for 4 cycles, a cycle is about 26,000 years. Remember, disembodied. We're talking about disembodied time. Okay. The angel has the opportunity of being born in human form. After only one birth and lifetimes as a human being, that archangel or angel receives liberation from all future births and deaths, mukti, a state of infinite bliss realized. Okay. The universe, though huge, it, I mean, that's really strange, ain't it? Yeah. After only one birth and a lifetime as a human, that archangel, wow, that's crazy, isn't it? Okay. That's a lot of service. The universe, though huge, immeasurably vast, and of countless variety, is a closed system, an egg, right? And a balance of nature must be maintained within this universal container, the universal body. The universal container holds all light, all heat, all sound, all water, all the elements contained in nature, and the natural forces generated in the universe. Yeah, everything's in this egg. It is the work of the angels and fairies, various types called genie or jinni or sylphs, etc., under the direction of Indra, to keep light, heat, sound, water, and the elemental forces of nature in equilibrium. Without the angels and fairies, there would be frequent colossal disturbances in the universe as a result of the imbalance of these elements and energy. I'm an imbalance of energy, get it? For the human mind plays havoc with the natural forces through scientific exploitation. It is only after many years that the natural forces go out of control during such eruption in the universe, resulting as chaos in the world, earthquakes, floods, famines, etc. Not even the angels and fairies, nor Indra, can control the cosmic consequences. Cosmic consequences. These cosmic consequences are universal disharmony caused by human extravagance and excessiveness. Bankers. Then the Ancient One himself must come into creation and work to restore equilibrium in the universe. Indra has control of all the 330 million gods or angels. Each angel performs a different function under Indra's rate. Some control the winds, temperature, the seas, or evolving forms. Some fairies are connected with metals, vegetation, worms, insects, fish, birds, or animals. The 330 million angels in Devalo perform specific functions for the maintenance or preservation of the universe according to the specific duty assigned them by Indra. Each, they got a duty assigned. Look at that. Each angel is called a god of this power or that power. As it is said, Neptune rules the seas. Indra and the angels do not advance through the third subtle plane because neither have gross bodies, and one needs a gross body to advance. Indra and his angels remain stationary at the first and second stations of Amakadasi, namely in Makanel Hori and Devalok. However, the third plane pilgrim advancing through the third section of Amakadasi has a physical human body as well as a subtle and mental body, and so he can advance. That's explaining for that's I know that was a long one, right? Let me check in with y'all. I'm still on. Good. Okay. Valeria, you made it. Okay, that's a long piece by Mirbaba explaining the hierarchy of the angels. You see what I'm saying? And so, they have to attain knowledge, right? Once you get a certain level of knowledge, right? Say Indra, uh, these different stations of knowledge, of power and knowledge and bliss. They get all the money, they get all the everything. That's a form of bliss here, yeah, but not the true bliss. It's a form of bliss here, and a form of bliss in the world you can't see. That you know they're over there in it, pop in here and pop out. They don't go through evolution properly now. They're a deer. They're click, boom, bang. They just pop in and out of whatever they are, like gods, fairies, whatever you want to call them. And I don't know why. That's why I don't call him human. Why would you call a god or a fairy, which could totally switch form, rule everything down here in this world? Why call them human? Because that's like I don't get to do that. I don't think you get to do that. You see what I'm saying? It's just different. It's completely different. Just because it look, the form looks like this. Okay, we look like angels. That's how it's hard to know who's who, what's what. It's a level of difficulty of the game, but you saw right there, Mayor Baba said it. You see? Okay, let's keep going. We're going somewhere with this. Is going good. Uh, I'm gonna look for the next piece here. Okay, not that yet. Okay, here's what I want to read next. I'm sure you've seen some of this, right? This is Mayor Baba's discussion when he talks about Satan. It's helpful. Let's do here's a short one. Love is God, lust is Satan, Mayor Baba. Okay. I'll find it here. Sorry about that. I am on the right page and everything. It's just okay. Here's one. Bear Baba, 1955. The truth is that Jesus was not tempted by Satan, but that Jesus got himself tempted and he overcame the temptations. There was a great purpose behind this. He had to get himself tempted. Thereby, he shouldered the burden of forces of temptations that predominated in the world. Jesus said overcame all the temptations and in that way created a tremendous force which acted as a great setback to the forces of universal temptations. The same was true in the case of Buddha, and it is the same every time in avataric periods. Whenever God manifests on earth as Avatar, his godhood gives a universal push, and the result is universal, i.e., not only the humanity reaps the benefit, but everything in the whole creation reaps the benefit of the universal push. All right, now we're going to get to, I think this is maybe ties. Let me see if I want to see anything else behind it. Okay. Birbava, get thee behind me, Satan. Although I am the foremost, this is from Glimpses of the God Man by Baladatu. And so this is something that he wrote. He was one of the Mandalay. So this is something Birbava said. Although I am the formless one, I am destined as the avatar to become a human form again and again. And so I am here. But I wish for you to become free of the wheel of births and deaths, of being born again and again, growing, maturing, marrying, enjoying, procreating, decaying, and dying. God is just as soft as he is hard, as compassionate as he is harsh. Just remember that when you call on him or evoke him, if he is touched even once, the impossible then becomes possible and you become free. This is not an easy thing. However, during the forthcoming days, try to repeat God's name wholeheartedly. Then I and God will see to it. These days, I try not to get angry and excited. Whenever I'm about to, I remember the words of Christ and say in silence, "Get thee behind me, Satan." So whenever you find that thoughts of lust, greed, jealous, anger, money matters, or family matters possess your heart, say silently as Jesus did, "Get thee behind me, Satan," and be at peace. What does that say? Get thee behind me, Satan. Well, Satan is like, honestly, when you start reading this, how's it different? What's the difference between the title Satan and the title Christ? What's the difference? You see what I'm saying? Because if you have actual knowledge, all the knowledge of God, you receive chit and ananda at the same time. Bliss, right? And power. You get so when you say, oh hey, you got you're saying that you have the other two. It's just they're not stated. It has to be there. So how is that uh it's hard. Wait, it's like, wait, which one is which? You see what I'm saying? So what does this say? Get thee behind me, Sadie. It's saying I know the world and everything in it. Yes, the moment of getting sated, I know the world and everything in it. You know it. I have the knowledge of the world. And but Christ said is that, oh, you have the knowledge of the world, but you don't want it. You see what I'm saying? You take the actions after you get the knowledge. So this is like the second and third journey. You see what I'm saying? Amir Mama's journeys. So oh, you get back the knowledge, but hey, if you actually get back in a body, you get thrown back in here. Third journey, and that means you have the knowledge, and you have to embody the knowledge, the truth. You embody the truth. You embody God. God is the truth. You see, and so you know what's up with God in the situation. You know it all. If somebody asks a question and they're with God, you know it. You can answer. You know. You just know. You don't. You're not separate from knowledge. I know. I'm trying to give it to you with all these quotes and format and stuff, so you could see it's in the script laid down here. You see, it's not separate. All right. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not getting questions. I'm just checking back with you. I'm gonna keep we're kind of getting there, you see. All right. Uh so what did I just say now? Now we'll go to a quote from John in the Bible, John 8:31-32. Uh The truth will set you free. So Jesus said to the Jews who had, HAD, who had believed, ED, him, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. In other words, there's a hierarchy of knowledge, and he said it specifically to the Jews, the bankers, and all that, the ones who the evil in the world, the angels, the devil, all them keeping it a running here. If you want to step out of your hole, if you want to leave the egg, you have to listen to the one that is, leaving, not staying. You see? Let's see. And so I was just saying, this is like the third journey, right? And Bear Baba's third journey. But let's explain that. This is Bear Baba on the four journeys. Uh, we're going to get to a point here shortly, but I think I'm creating the point by just doing these readings. I hope. God is infinite, and his shadow is also infinite. The shadow of God is the infinite space that accommodates the infinite gross sphere with its Earth, with its occurrences of millions of universes within and without the range of men's knowledge. It is the creation that issued from the point of finiteness in the infinite existence that is God. In these billions of universes are many systems with planets. Some are in gaseous states, some in states of solidification, some in stone and metal, some of which also have meditation. Some have developed life forms such as worms and fish, and some are birds. Some also birds, some are animals, and a few also have human beings. Thus, it is that throughout the myriads of universes, there are planets on which seven kingdoms of evolution are manifested. And the evolution of consciousness and forms is completed, but only on the planet Earth do human beings reincarnate and become the evolutionary path to self realization. So if you're on Earth, this is the only place that matters. Okay. Earth is the center of this infinite gross sphere of millions of universes, inasmuch as it is the point, capital P, to which all human conscious souls must migrate in order to begin the involutionary path. The evolutionary path has seven stations, and arrival at the seventh station completes the first journey to God. Seven plane, first journey to God, you did it. That's the first journey, okay? Along with the completion of this first journey is the goal of, sorry. Although the completion of this journey is the goal of all human souls, only a few, very few, at any given moment embark upon it. The arrival at the end of this journey is the drowning of individuality in the ocean of infinite consciousness, and the journey's completion is the soul's absorption in the state of I am God with full consciousness, and as God, it experiences infinite power, knowledge, and bliss. Satchitananda, right? Just read about that. Out of all the souls who completes this first journey, a very few enter the second journey. This journey has no stations. It is an instantaneous journey, the journey of infinite consciousness being shaken from its absorption in the I am God to abiding in God as God. In this state, the individuality is regained, but individuality is now infinite. And this infinity includes gross consciousness. In other words, includes gross consciousness, but goes back in the body. Boom. Okay. And so, as man and God, it experiences infinite power, knowledge, and bliss in the midst of most finiteness. The unlimited soul knows its unlimitedness in the midst of limitation. You get tossed back into the body. That's the second journey. You meet with God, is the guy's like, okay, have fun back in there. It's like, wait, what? Okay. I know that one. Yeah. Third journey is undertaken only by those who have accomplished the second journey and whose lot, what a word, whose lot it is to bear the burden of the exercise of infinite power, knowledge, and bliss, and so to live God's life both as man and God simultaneously. There are only five such masters living on the earth at any given moment, and they control the movement of the universe and the affairs of the worlds of men. Only when one of these five perfect masters drops his body can one of those who are body in God as God move onwards and complete the third journey to fill the vacant office. It is the duty of these five perfect masters to precipitate the advent of the Ancient One and to hand over him charge of his own creation. Okay, listen, to take the vacant state. So them five perfect masters, them are angels, whatever, right? They know everything, right? They know everything. It's the highest state of being here and running the game. Uh, and then one of these five person masters drops his body. Uh, can one of those who are abiding in God as God move onwards and complete the third journey to fill the vacant office? And them offices over there, they get filled. Okay. It is the duty of these I know I just read this, but it is the duty of these five perfect masters to precipitate, in other words, they're into the game until someone wins the game, to precipitate the advent of the ancient one. Hey, run the game, and that'll make, in other words, they trust God and the universe. Hey, this will make someone be the first one to win the game, and then others will win the game. Okay. Keep reading. All those who live God's life on earth and all those who abide in God as God on earth, when they drop their bodies, also shed forever their subtle and mental vehicles and pass away utterly as God, retaining infinite individuality and experiencing infinite power, knowledge, and bliss. This is the fourth journey, right? That would be when I hit the end of the time loop. In reality, these four journeys are never journeyed, for God has nowhere to journey. I, he is, sorry, he is without beginning and without end, and everything, which has the appearance of being appeared, whoops, which has the appearance of being appeared from that which has no beginning and passes back into that which has no ending. Well, it's funny, the time loop kind of matches that. It doesn't have a beginning and an ending because it's like a loop. So does have the nature of God in it. So, okay. So I won the game first. So I'm like, okay. But it says here, they're waiting for a spot to get filled. So whoever comes in and fills it, hey, that's cool. But, okay. Let's keep going. Let's do some quotes here. All right. Let me check in with y'all here. Alan, your mama says there are 18,000 planets. You think that may refer to a level of consciousness? Yeah, I do. I do think that. Yeah, planets, planes. Yeah, I do think that. And, so much of what's happening is not in the physical world, obviously, so much, but is completely represented also in the physical world, you know. So God is represented here. Everything is represented here. What we can't see is represented here. But and same with that's why you could look to this world and be like, well, how what's pulling the strings here? What's going on? What makes this happen? What's the nature of whatever God, right, is making this happen? I had to redo my settings. I was restricted for this video. I could still. Glad you made it. Jay Baba. That'll get you praying to God right there. As you made it. Okay, so there's achieving the knowledge, right? Oh man, I met with God and how I somehow got it all downloaded. That and God was like, "Well, get back in there." It's like, no, I just wait a second. Isn't that the I just one thing with the thing just popped out and all the that was the big you won? Wasn't that the point where I won? It's like, yeah, but no, that's where you won an appointment with God to get what you're gonna do when you go back. It's like, oh, I totally didn't feel that way. But there's good news in this because it's Jesus Christ that says, I am the Alpha and Omega. I am. You know, and when I met Jesus Christ, he only said, I'm infinity times infinity. I am. What is that? What an unusual thing to say. I mean, obviously there's a time limit, but it said I retains individualized consciousness. So it's a very unusual thing to have consciousness of everything and your own because it's a journey making them, you know, sorting out like some of it. A very difficult thing for me is wait a second, I gotta come back here. You know what I mean? Because I'm not separate from my consciousness with God. And so I'm not separate in my consciousness from Jesus Christ. So I'm not thinking I'm not coming back because Jesus is coming back. He's, hey, I'm here then. Boom, it's hey, you know. But you know, it's funny. It's so interesting because you got an ocean called God giving you what it can give you, and from there, and creating all this creation to get you back. So it's just like, oh, hey, God comes in again and again. Yeah, well, God says God is everything in here. So it's, it's not just saying God is Jesus Christ, it's saying God is everyone. You just said, their mom would say, God is, they're gods, like the whole thing is a temptation at every level of power here, even after meeting with God. God is real. Oh my God, and everybody treats me different. Oh, let's see how you handle that power. It's like, oh, hey, I'm just working for him. It's like, okay, that you know how to handle that power. Good. Uh, and so let's keep going a little bit more, almost to the place where I want to put this into a very simple principle of how to win this game that you already know, but I want to get there. You see what I'm saying? And make it so it's solid as a rock inside of you. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going with a little bit more. All right. There's a whole bunch of there's a long writing by Amir Baba about what Amir Baba means by real work. Let's read the very last part of it. Okay. Just read the end of it. Do not propagate what you do not feel. What your heart says or your conscience dictates about me, pour out without hesitation. Be unmindful of whether you are ridiculed or accepted in pouring out your heart for me or against me to others. If you take me as Baba, as God incarnate, say so. Do not hesitate. If you think Baba is the devil, say it. Do not be afraid. I am everything that you take me to be, and I am also beyond everything. If your conscience says that Baba is Avatar, say it. If you are stoned for it, but if you feel he is not, then say you feel Baba is not the Avatar. Of myself, I say again and again, I am the Ancient One, the highest of the high. If you had enough, even if you had even the tiniest glimpse of my divinity, all doubts would vanish, and love, real love, would be established. Illusion has a tight grip on you that you forget reality. Your life is a shadow. The only reality is existence eternal, which is God. He's saying it pretty well. Okay. Now let's get to this one piece that really kind of hopefully ties us together, and we can start talking about this. Thanks for sticking with me. Okay. Bear Mama again. This is notes dictated. Okay. This is if you didn't have what I already read today and went over, I don't think this would make complete sense to you. But I'm hoping maybe it does here. Here we go. In the story of Adam and Eve, the creative relationship between infinite unconsciousness and the nothing is portrayed. Adam and Eve were created by God in the very beginning, and they lived together naked in paradise, Eden. In paradise, their life was harmonious, beautiful, and blissful, and God, whom they had never seen, cared for them in every way. But in turn, Adam and Eve had to obey one command. God forbade them to eat from a certain tree in the garden. One day, a snake came to Eve and convinced her to offer the forbidden fruit to Adam, which she did. Adam hesitated, but Eve convinced him to eat the fruit. Adam ate the fruit, ate it all, and God, angry with them for disobeying, for breaking his only command, threw them out of paradise, heaven, right? Angels become fallen. All right. Although it is claimed in Genesis that God threw Adam and Eve out of paradise, the fact of the matter is they came into creation out of sleep. Adam entered creation from the state of sleep because of his ignorance of his own nature. Because Adam was ignorant, the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge very much attracted him, though he hesitated at first. The forbidden fruit, right? Angels hesitate. I'm gonna keep doing what God says. I don't want to know what those humans look like idiots. Okay, here we go. The forbidden fruit contained the knowledge of good and evil, the opposites. It contained consciousness, the knowledge of consciousness and unconsciousness. The snake represents illusion, and illusion, though it is not real, is convincing. Illusion, which has no substances of its own, but to which the nothing is very susceptible, is a snake which convinced Eve to tempt Adam. The fruit from the tree of knowledge represents the object that creates desire through temptation, Eve's powers of seduction. Eden is the beyond state of God, right? Where we go to sleep. Okay. The original state of everything, Adam and Eve and the snake, latent from the beginning. All those things are latent within us. Okay. Adam entered creation because of the desire created by tasting the fruit, right? Knowledge of the world. Okay, that's the fruit. The more he ate, the more he desired to know himself. The taste of the fruit gave Adam knowledge of good and evil, meaning he knew the difference between, because he grew a heart, right? Meaning he knew the difference between being conscious and being unconscious. He desired to be conscious, to know, right? Say to know. Desire to know. Inherent, they wanted to know self. Okay. In Bear Bob's book, God speaks the desire in Adam to know himself is referred to as the original whim. Who am I? God speaks is dedicated to the snake, the illusion, since without that snake, Adam would not have become conscious. Right? The same snake Hindus call Sheshnag. Adam's being thrown out of paradise indicates the forces of the whim, the force of the movement of the whole creation. This force called pasara, expansion, and is continually spreading out and moving. Adam's purpose of coming into creation was to realize who he was, but he could not without desire, and that desire is called sanskara. From that original desire to know came immeasurable desires, sanskaras, which make up the illusory consciousness of everyone and everything in creation. In the beginning, Adam and Eve were naked, meaning they had no sanskaras. But without sanskaras, there's no development of consciousness, right? You're just asleep. Eve desired Adam, and Adam desired the fruit of knowledge. Adam could not realize himself without the desire to know. The fruit was the cause of his desire for knowledge. If, as he ate and felt the grip of samskaras, he desired more. It takes time to know self in the long process of evolution, reincarnation, and evolution. The hesitation on Adam's part was the stirring in the ocean of the whim and desire before any manifestation occurred. In the Hebrew and Christian tradition, this story is told that Adam was thrown out of paradise by a wrathful God after eating fruit. Yes, get out of heaven. You gotta earn your way back here. That's right. But the meaning has become lost. Actually, the infinite unconsciousness came out of the beyond into creation because of its own desire, the desire to be conscious. In Islamic, the tradition, same story is told, but Satan enticed Adam instead of Eve to eat forbidden wheat, right? Wheat and tares. Right? You want to be one of the wheat. Oh, okay. You're not one of the chairs. Okay. And so God threw Adam out of paradise, right? Oh, who was everything here? Who was all the everything? Who was all the houses and has all the money and has all the everything? Paradise for them. Adam is the first one, and it is he who realized God himself first. Eve followed Adam out of the garden. She followed him because she was his shadow. Uh-oh. What evil? Eve. When Eve said to Adam, "Eat this," Adam was deceived. But this deception is necessary to know knowledge, and ignorance as ignorance. Christhood means occupying the throne of God the Father. Adam became Christ when he, the first soul, ended his journey from unconsciousness in the Garden of Eden to infinite consciousness in paradise. Okay. It's, in other words, the process of becoming, Satan is like, hey, you have knowledge of everything here, but you don't want it. No. And then that's how you get to Christ right after your journey. Come back. Oh, okay. Now I want this world. See? Okay. Where Mama is God. Genesis, GD, yeah, they didn't know what they were naked. No Sasquatch. Exactly. Okay. So that's important groundwork to getting at what's going on lately, right? We got a lot going on lately. And let me go through some of it. Uh so God is truth. Yes, God is truth. And so whoever gets Christ consciousness becomes the embodiment of truth. Yes. In other words, the physical body embodies, right, is in the body physically. The infinite and the finite are in here. Oh, okay. So what and how does all this information, right, tie into the last show that I did? Wow, I could end this game, but you see, this wasn't that isn't that the problem when right? Oh, you got all the knowledge, all of it. So you know how to end the game. Yeah. Should you? No. Why? Because God knows best, and that's part of the knowledge. Yeah, I want to end it because I want to end people's suffering because I'm not separate from all the suffering. Suffering, so it's like that's too much. God's like, no, that's part of the process. It's like, oh yeah, that was part of my individual process. Oh man, And so what happens is you come over to understanding. Oh, Indra and all the fairies and all the angels and all the list that Bear Bob had. There's them, there's here, everybody does all this stuff. Yeah, all that. Uh, Fear keeps them here. You see, and they're being in paradise. What? They get everything. They don't pay for bills and stuff. So they're like afraid. What would they do if they couldn't pay their bills and stuff? They don't have any creativity. They don't have a heart. They don't have a heart for themselves yet. even. You see? Come on, who you fighting for? You're not even fighting for yourself. Come on. They don't have enough sense of self to fight for themselves. They just don't have it. They don't have a heart yet. You see, God isn't in their heart. They haven't physically embodying God yet. You see, they're just one with God, in that they don't have, individualized consciousness yet, as you and I do. They don't have that yet. It's speeding up. That's what I'm getting at, Didi. That's right. They're actually phenomenal events. That's what this that means. God is. That's what I'm trying to say. No heart, no brain, no courage. Thank you. They're just automatons. That's literally the word that Baba used, automatons. Uh, exactly. But they're getting it, you see? And how? By watching us, you know? That something matters. That's what's happening. So, uh, that's where you say it. Like, the Avatar, I take it to be, that's who winning the game first. Yep. Automatons. Yeah. Vampires, well, there's every level, you see. They have to create, we're in duality. They have to create this sheshnag, this, temptation for everything, this unlimited rainbow of temptations to know self, right? You have to experience something as yourself, and then you know yourself in that experience. That's how you know, until you don't want any more experiences. Like, when I went through all the carnival, okay, I didn't go through all the carnival, but after a while, it's just my feet are sticky from sticky drinky thingies, and it smells like carnival up in here. It's like, I don't care what the next game is. You're gonna try and cheat me, and then like it's like, okay, enough. Once you get the nature of the game, you just like, enough. Enough is enough. Okay, where's God? Enough with the top hats and the enough. So, but that's what happens. You're really enjoying this reading. Good. And I'm happy, because I really need to bring us to this place. Okay, so because what we're going to have to get into is spiritual technology, in a way, just to work on us individually. Yes, okay, because we're having an issue with sanctuary outside the body. Yes, but a little fear gets them not knocking on doors or nothing like that, because that's what rules out fear. They have to be afraid of us, and only when they fear you enough, and they don't fear us. They fear what? They fear God, because God is in us and watching us. They don't fear us, obviously. They don't fear us, obviously. They fear us when God is in us. That's when they fear us, not before. So you're always calling on God's name whenever you're in their presence. You're a witness. I'm going to film this, so God, in case God don't have time to watch it now, I'm going to film this. uh and I mean, it's so funny when you're, because let's just be real. I'm the physical embodiment of truth. Yes, someone asked me a question, I can answer it. I mean, I got grilled by Alan for 2 months. I'm saying, if you want a more precise, what is the word when you cut open a frog? Uh, if you want to get precise dissection, if you want to get dissected properly, Al is the one to do it, uh, to get at the truth. So. And I lost one piece of what I read a lot of Obama stuff today, but basically, it says when you receive the Christ consciousness, you become a servant of those who hear. And I think I serve. I think the proof that I serve is here, uh, or else you wouldn't be listening to me. So, uh, if the truth is in here, right, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. If, right, Jesus said, hey, if you do what I say, that's it. If you, because he's the embodiment of truth in here. So whoever gets Christ consciousness is the embodiment of truth. So it's like if somebody asks a question and you answer and they don't do it, well, you just told them the truth and they didn't do the truth. So, you know, I say usually I usually don't say you should blah. I say, well, here's the options. You can do this. There's, or you can do this. But it usually is pretty obvious once you know what's going on. You know the truth. Oh, yeah, I guess I got to do that because you know the truth. And if you're uncertain, you could ask me, and I'll be like, oh, here's the principle at play here. Now off you go. You do it. I don't have a switch on your back. Right? I don't have no switches on the back. I don't have no puppet strings here. Oh, they're going to do this. I don't have any of that. I don't have any of that. Do I know? You're following your own air, people. I don't have that. But if I did, I would be like, oh man, oh, that's one of them. Don't do that. Don't go over there. Do that with. I would be in you and be like, nope, don't, we're not going over there because that's obvious. No, but that's not how it works. You see, you could do this or that and then do that. Yeah, but if you wanted, if the answer is how do I do this, then, well, that's how you do it. But if you do it, well, that's all you. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough, because you get an answer because you already probably know what the answer is, and you probably don't want to do it. And we're looking for an answer outside of where you probably knew what you not need to do. Uh, but I probably don't have one for you. And so, cracks me up, remind you how to edit your own work of it. Yeah. Uh, so if the truth sets you free and there's a physical embodiment of truth, does it, the reaction individuals have to the embodiment of truth really then determine the outcomes at play here? Like when a hurricane's going on. Well, the main steering mechanism for that hurricane is this front right here. I'm the steering mechanism. If you want to come up against me, you're going to go that way. You're not coming that way. You see? Like, you want to come up against the truth. Okay, off you go. See you, hurricane. Or you don't have to do it. Like, oh, okay, just become the part of the front. You're cool. uh, all you all you could hear was Jack punching on the keyboard. Right? The man in the computer. Uh but here's the thing. I did win the game first. I really tried to patiently, in absolute extreme detail, is hundreds and hundreds of videos, try to explain that I am in a non-egotistical way with proof. I tried. How would you do it? Look, I'm serious. How would you do it? You get with God, and God says, I'll put you back in the body now. Go tell everybody everything. It's like, say what? How would you do it? I mean, how would you do it? Because you're going to tell everybody else, hey, everything you're told for your whole life was a lie. And this is the truth. How would you do it? How would you do it? How would you? Her mom was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say anything. Okay, that's one method. That's been tried. We still got some souls up in here. Now what? I mean, what are you going to do? You see? No one ever gets these disasters. Well, the thing is, they need to get these disasters because you need to cry out for God, and you need to see me almost wiped out like all the time. Which is, in other words, I can't live a separate existence. I have to be the truth, but the truth can't get wiped out. It could get nearly wiped out and be, oh my God, it's gonna go. He's gonna. Oh, he's. I mean, how many times? He's dead. He. I saw it in face. That guy's dead. Finally, now I'm not going to do his work. I have an excuse. Oh shit, he's still alive. Sorry, I'm not supposed to be cussing. Oh, sorry, children. I'm doing my best. They need the train wreck. I'm telling you, they need the train wreck. It didn't work to give hundreds of proof videos and sit here patiently and answer every question. It didn't work. It didn't work. My ego, right? It didn't work. It didn't work. That's why God has to do it. It didn't work. God's like, well, here, you think you're so smart. You're crying out to God to change everything. How about here you go? Why don't you know everything? You're so smart. Why don't you go do it? You think are you gonna change everything? Here you go. Now let's see what you do. Okay, haha. Mr. Smarty Pants, let's see what you do. Hey, you're God. Go ahead. Go ahead. You got all the knowledge. Go ahead. Your turn. I'm like, uh uh-oh. You're right, God. No, because when you meet with God, the nature of what you thought was real, gone, right? Everything gone. Everything you thought was true is gone. And then you find out the truth, and you're like, okay. And then there's a before and after. That's it. It's like a before and after picture. Before you do the truth and after. But after you know the truth and you get set back in here, and hey, I completed the third journey and stuff. Well, then I'm not making no mistakes up here. I'm not. Somebody asked me a question, I answer it to the point where even Alan, he asks me questions. So, but they're very careful. They're very intelligent, and he knows they're going to have an outcome on him if he asks them. But he wants to progress spiritually, so he asks them, even knowing that he still asks. And I answer him, and he gets the truth. So, that's the way to advance. It's the way Jesus said, because someone did it first. So it doesn't matter who it is. It just matters that someone did it. That means you could do it. And everyone's getting out of here. There's the eye of the needle right there. He been in and out. Okay, how did you do that? This is how. That's all. And if someone said that, oh, that don't matter. I'm cool with the world here. I'm busy. I'm okay where you're staying. That's it. And those people that the only sanskara, the only desire left is to know self. Who am I really? And it's not what's going on in here. Get me back to God and who I really am. That's your single only desire after, it continues. And that's it. And your actions match that. Then that's it. You get there. They want the money. That's all. They don't want God. They want the money. That's it. You all get tempted by money and all the things that money can buy and all. Exactly. It's just so horrible. You pay for something and the money goes away. You need more money. It's so horrible. It's a horror. Money is an absolute horror. Keeps us here. Good God. Of course we need to have somebody to pay for stuff in the world, but not of it. Okay. But I'm trying to get to the point that, let's say you're going to see this thing. I was at the drum circle the other day, and this very drunk guy comes up to me. He's like, man, they're playing a great rhythm, aren't they? I was like, and they were just, blah, 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 and it was right after the hurricane. So they were playing with a whole lot of too much speed. You couldn't dance or anything to it. It was like they were getting it out. And then this drunk guy was like, man, look at him go, he's not a dancer or nothing like that. I was like, yeah, their rhythm is good, but their tempo is wrong. He's like, what? I said, they're playing too fast because they're got too much stress on their mind and everything. They're letting it out. Can't you see it? And then, they heard me and stuff. And he heard me and then they heard me and they kind of settled into it and stuff, but yeah, you know. Uh the tempo is speeding up here and they know it, because the reactions that people give me on my various levels of learning about this information and the denials I got along the way, the treatment and being on friggin' parole, you got to check into the cops and all the horrors that I individually had to uh, experience as the first game winner here come back on everybody. It happens to everyone else embodying the truth too. In your own little area, as you're embodying the truth, you're going to see it too. So, All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. So if you got any thoughts or questions, all right, I've got a few notes here. I'm gonna go with you. So, okay, how how does Satan become Satan? Right? There's one way. There's one thing he refused to do. One thing. Anybody? Come on. It's one thing. It's one thing he refused to do. It's one thing. And I didn't become Satan, and I did it because I did the one thing. I have done the one thing that Satan would not do. I've done it. What is it? No, not tell everyone the truth about the situation. Although, right, that is a difference between me and Satan. 100% you're right about that. That's the difference. Keeps it quiet, and I say it. That's the difference of us two. But it's an action that that in the beginning, you see, an action in the Bible Satan refused to do, would not do, and that created who he was at that moment. It moved from Lucifer to Satan by his refusal to do one thing. No. Yes, Jay, bend the knee to man. No, it wasn't bend the knee to and cry out to God. Eventually, you do cry out to God. It was bend the knee to man. Bend the knee to man. Bend the knee to man. Yes, that's what he did too. Have I bent the knee to the men and women in here? I bent both knees and washed the feet, just like Jesus said. And that's the proof. And then had you under your own free will bend your knee to man, a man that already bent his knee to you, evening the scales, right? Man becomes God, bends the knee to man. I'm not, I got the title saying no, but I bend the knee to them. I'm not him. Move on to Christ. You see what I'm saying? No ego. Proof by bent knee. Yes, yes. Proof. Proof by the bent knee. That's what Satan wouldn't. You see, that's what created him. Wouldn't bend the knee to man. I know better. I have all the knowledge. You know nothing. I know when the time ends. I didn't have to tell you. I didn't have to tell anybody these things, right? Like Alice said, I do or I don't, but I do. So I'm not him. I bend the knee and I tell people, but first just bending in the knee. Yes, bend the knee. No preachers do it. No priests, no ministers. They don't bend their knee to man. They don't do it. And that's how you can know who I am. And that's a fact. And I done it. And so as soon as I bent the knee to man, which I done, right? Before we went to India, bent the knee to man. I've done it before too, to them others that wanted me to baptize. I've done it a couple times, but I'm saying I've done it to the street preacher. I've done it out there. Okay. But when I done it, that's what happened. You see? That's when it's like you move from the knowledge to not it's in you, but then it's the action of what? First, before any of your actions become the truth, you must embody it. I bend the knee to man. I work for you. I'm working for you. You don't know, so I bend the knee. I'm showing you I have no ego. Wash your feet. I'm here for you. And the other was, the 330 million. I was like, oh man, he's here. We after that, it was someone of them came up to me. I heard you're the one holding us up. I'm like, you're right. What? I'm just playing the game. I'm not the creator of the game, but I'm the one in the position in the game who is holding you up. But I just follow God's rules. I'm no different than you. But yeah, I'm that one right now. Yeah. Uh Alan, okay, right. Yes, you have. Yes. Just like Jesus Christ, Papa, bent the knee to man. After I received the knowledge, I bent the knee to man. Bent the knee to man. I bet I did. I did it. I done it, and I showed that it should be done. I showed the others here should be done. did it on video. This is what you do. I done it. I done it. I done it. And that I served. I served man. Do I not serve man? 7 days a week I serve man. I serve man here. Men and women. The humans, I serve them. I serve them. I do. I got proof. So that's not ego talking. It's the opposite. I don't. So I can't be talking from ego. That is not a possibility. I have proof. You see? So when I say that this matrix, this dome, this physical reality, this earth, and whatever is having a reaction to me with these storms and so on, we're going to go 3 here directly to my house, basically almost scraping me. This could be 3 in a row. What? Come on. What are you talking about? What? We had one earlier, so that's 4. Come on. This year. I mean, if God ain't telling you enough, I mean, who's that on? It ain't me. It ain't on God at this point. So the truth is out to the last detail. I'm turning the other cheek. I don't need to start no wars. It's on God now. That's it. You see, I'm trying to show you what's going on and the reasons why. That's all. Okay. There's a game at play. Oh, I didn't win the game? You don't think so? Oh, remember who knelt and nobody else did? Any other priest? You never seen it. You never seen it. And it's what Jesus did. Oh, I'm Christian. What? How? In what way? Give me a break. Anyway, that's a lesson for the day and for the days in the past and the days in the future. That's the only lesson. You see? That's what he wouldn't do. He wouldn't bow to me. What? I know what's up here. What are you gonna? These creatures bow to them? What? We don't even. That's us. You and me, we're the same. I'm just a different spot of the path. That's all. No, I'm no better or worse. We're all the same, doing the same exact thing. So how's one better than the other? And they're not. They're just at different places on the path. It's hard being in this spot, and it's supposed to be hard, but it's also supposed to be. You can see, oh wow, look at it, what's going on. And that individual knows and has miracles, and so you have to. It has to be. You have to see it. There's a proof of who they are. Okay. Yes. All right. I think that's kind of I think that's getting into enough and getting to my main point here, eh? Y'all have hung in there very well. And you could make it, in this lifetime. Who can hear this? It's so few. And what else is there to hear? What? Come on. Right? Lightning fell from heaven. My first wife's nickname was Nig. Not light, but Nig. Filipino nickname. Nig. I didn't get it until I was like, Nig. Oh, what? I get it now. Light, Nig, light, shadow. What? Okay. All right, everyone. Without your support, this place is already incredibly difficult. But without your support, it'd be impossible. And it's supposed to be impossible without support of man. If I'm not serving man, how would I get any support from man? And I mean humans, not man, woman. I mean, the species. And that's all of them. How do I not serve the fallen, the unfallen, the ones with me? How am I not serving everyone by showing that this path is real? I serve everyone. There's no one left out by my service. If there is, get in touch with me. What's your question? I'm here to serve. Yes, yeah, everyone. No one's left out from my service. There's no, you've done da da da. So there's one apostate, right? What I made apostate, right? Because it has to be seen that you could go too far. It has to be seen. It has to be seen, right? What has been made apostate. So, but that has to be seen as reality. So what? They can win next slip, but they deserve it. Okay. All right, everyone. Uh, Thanks for being here. You're in the right place on the path. You're making it. Just under 9 years left. You can do this thing. Okay. Thanks for your support, everyone. We'll keep going with this where we're going and get out of here next week. All right. Uh, God bless you, one and all. Jai Baba, Bear Baba, Jesus Christ, Angel Gabriel, watch over each and every one of you and your families until we meet next week, next Sunday. Okay, and we'll get into more of the what instead of why. Okay, all right, all right. God bless you, each one of you. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Frank.